Hey, what's up, gentlemen and ladies? Welcome to another Final Fantasy discussion, and today we are going to be discussing what the Fabula Nova Crystallis is, what games are in it, and what is their connection to each other. Now, I've explained in the past what the connection between these games is in a previous video, but I haven't gone into how exactly this sub-series came to be, and that's what I'm here to do today. Now, for those of you wondering, Fabula Nova Crystallis, or as I've heard it's pronounced Fabula Nova Crystallis, translates from Latin to the New Crystal Fables. The reason for this name is because this series was an attempt at bringing the crystals theme back as a main focus on the Final Fantasy games, just like some of the older ones like Final Fantasy 1 and 4 did. What happened was that somebody at Square Enix came up with these rules to a world and how they worked. He established like the basic setup for this universe, including FNC staples like the goddess Etro, Lacies and Falces, Eidolons, and of course the crystals. I'm not sure if this was their intent from the beginning, but what ended up happening was that this concept was given off to 3 different writers/directors, and they made their own stories with different rules based on the original FNC framework, creating 3 different series out of it. Man, a series within a series within a series. Leave it to Final Fantasy, the franchise that can manage to make a sequel out of a sequel. In case you guys are wondering, all of these games were going to be a part of the whole 13 mythos, the Roman numeral 13 representing their connection. The concept was given to the following 3 directors creating the original 3 FNC games: Motomu Toriyama, who created Final Fantasy 13, Tetsuya Nomura, who created Final Fantasy Versus 13, and Hajime Tabata, who created Final Fantasy Agito 13. Now, I already explained in the other video that I mentioned earlier why these names were changed later, but the original plan was for the FNC to consist of these 3 games and these 3 games only. However, money. Final Fantasy XIII, despite the fans' negative feedback, broke records for the Final Fantasy franchise, which led to the creation of Final Fantasy XIII-2 and Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII. This, in case you guys were wondering, is why Final Fantasy XIII had a relatively positive and satisfying ending, but got sequels nonetheless, which were directly tied to each other. Heck, 13-2 even ended in To Be Continued. Final Fantasy Agito 13, on the other hand, was eventually changed into Final Fantasy Type 0, and due to its success and praise in Japan on the PSP, an HD remake was made and localized for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. A semi-prequel/sequel was made for Japanese mobile phones, known as Final Fantasy Agito, which is currently being ported to the PlayStation Vita as Final Fantasy Agito Plus, and a sequel is on the works, which fans are currently calling either Final Fantasy Type 1 or Final Fantasy Type Next. As for Final Fantasy Versus 13, we all know that the name was changed to Final Fantasy 15 and that it's still not out yet. However, the demo, Final Fantasy 15 Episode Duske, released recently and fans and critics love it. It's looking like Final Fantasy 15 is going to be one of the best main series FFs that we've seen in a long time, which is great because many who are not even fans of Final Fantasy have shown interest in this game, so hopefully it meets the sales goals as well. As I've talked about in the past, the Final Fantasy 15 series is already in the works with sequels on the way, and hopefully this time they don't take as long as Versus 13 did to actually develop. So in short, both in terms of sales and reception, the Fabula Nova Crystallis is one of the most successful things introduced into the Final Fantasy franchise that has been done to this day. Believe it or not, this sub-series has no sign of ending anytime soon and is already the highest-selling sub-series within the Final Fantasy franchise, beating out the previous holder of that title, Final Fantasy VII, and all of its spin-offs. Hopefully, the FNC keeps going strong, but either way, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy.